will be available tomorrow. If you need assistance with debris cleanup, mucking, or tarp installation, please contact Crisis Cleanup. Their number is 1-800-451-1954. Another group that can help you with this is the Florida Baptist Disaster Relief. They will be helpful with you for debris cleanup, mucking, and tarp installation. Their number is 904-253-9924, and we will have these numbers available for you in all of our different media outlets. The American Red Cross, they will be open and have a feeding kitchen at the Equestrian Center at lunch. The address is 7750 Mobile Highway, and that starts at noon, and they're going to have approximately 1,000 lunches. The Mercy Chef, they are at the Brownsville Community Center, and they will be providing meals from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and they are next to the pod site there at the Brownsville Community Center. The Salvation Army is also serving meals throughout this county. However, we do need you to call the Citizens Information Line, as these locations do tend to move, and so we want to make sure that we give you the accurate address for those locations. Our information line is 850-471-6600. I did want to mention that out of 264 traffic signals that are either monitored or managed by FDOT and the county, they have been assessed, and we have 184 of those signals back up and running. There are 10 that do have the flashers on. We currently have 9 crews that are out continuing to do this work, and we've had 44 generators that are being deployed to ensure that these signals do continue to operate. The operational goal of this team is to have 100% activated by tomorrow afternoon. So I'd like to say thank you to those crews. Those are the kind of things that we have our staff and our community out there doing to try and protect our citizens. Because as we've mentioned before, we have had a couple of accidents at those different intersections. We do need citizens to continue to please stay off the road unless it is an emergency. As you know, there have been long lines at the gas pumps, and we would ask you to please be safe when you're at those gas stations, and try and be courteous and patient there as well. Everyone is in the same position from that perspective. Our urban search and rescue teams are wrapping up. They're going house to house in the flooded zones. But they are wrapping up today, we hope. We do have one shelter that has remained open, and that one has 180 currently at that shelter. We do want to mention to you all, we have been talking about the weather as we've continued to go on. The Escambia River and the Perdido River have both crested. However, we are currently expecting some additional rain. So please be vigilant and monitor the weather to continue to protect yourself and your property. The Equestrian Center is now open, and we are taking horses from those that have been impacted and affected. So for stall information, or if you're interested in being able to board your horse there, please contact the Equestrian Center at 850-941-6042. There will be paperwork that's required, but I know that horse owners know how we want to protect you and your animals. As I've mentioned, the county has continued to provide continued assessment, damage assessment, whether it be with private structures or actual our county facilities. So our damage assessment totals were over 1,000 private structures that have been assessed, and they will be continuing to work over the weekend. Our engineering and roads department and our parks department that have been reassigned to assist our roads department, they have opened 377 roads since midday on Wednesday. We do have professional estimators that are continuing to look at the county facilities, but we are up to over $21 million in damage at our county facilities. I would also like to remind you that ECAT and the libraries are not operating today, but hopefully you're not on the road trying to get to the library today. We've continued to mention, too, what great partnerships we've had with all of our federal and state partners. Today we will have Congressman Gates, Senator Marco Rubio, FEMA Administrator Peter Gaynor, and also FDEM Director Jared Moskowitz here, either in town looking at assessments. Some of them have already been in town, but they will be here in the EOC not too long from now. And at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Marie Mott to give a health update.
Thank you. Marie Mott, Florida Department of Health in Escambia County. The Health Department in Escambia County is provisionally planning to resume regular operations on Monday, September 21st. This at this point is contingent upon safe water supply. So once the boil water notice is lifted for our facility, or we receive what we've requested in a supply of bottled water, we will know more and be able to move forward with announcing that. If you are under a boil water notice or on a private well, it's important to remember to continue to take precautions. Don't use potentially contaminated water for drinking, for brushing your teeth, washing and preparing foods. You can reduce risk of water-related illnesses by boiling water, bringing it to a rapid boil for a minute, by adding some household chlorine bleach to your water supply, 8 drops per gallon, or by using a safe supply of bottled water. Also remember to discard any food that's not been kept refrigerated at 40 degrees or below, or any foods that have come into contact with flood or storm waters. If you experience injuries when you're working to recover from storm damage or in any type of injuries, please make sure you seek immediate first aid. You may need a vaccination, so talk to your provider to see if that is something that you need. And don't let open wounds come into contact with storm or flood waters as well. Remember also, generators release carbon monoxide gas, and this is extremely dangerous and can be fatal. Carbon monoxide gas can't be smelled and can't be seen, so make sure that you are far away from any exhaust from generators. Place generators at least 20 feet from any open doors and windows, and don't run generators inside any type of enclosed area or building. Finally, as we continue to have wet weather, we probably will see problems with mosquitoes, and there are mosquito-borne illnesses we could like to prevent. So remember to, as much as possible, drain standing water from your property and cover your skin with clothing or with insect repellent to prevent mosquito bites. Also, we've received a support from the Florida Department of Health and in the form of an environmental task force. They're going to be out in the community helping educate people on these type of risks and how they can mitigate them. They should have badges, so if you are approached by somebody, please be aware that those are state officials. And you can find all our information on Twitter at Healthy Escambia and our website, escambiahealth.com. Thank you. I'm going to turn over to Marlene Santos, Gulf Power.
Good morning. So when Hurricane Sally left Escambia County on Wednesday, we had about 90% of our customers out of power. This morning, just less than 72 hours after that, we have less than 50% of our customers out of power. We understand that that's a very difficult situation for our customers, and we're doing a lot to make sure that we provide that power safely and as quickly as possible. So yesterday, I talked to you about the fact that we were working on our substations, getting up all of our critical infrastructure, getting all our main feeder lines up, and all that work has happened. Today we'll be working on a couple of more feeder lines, but most of that is pretty much done. And so our focus for today, in addition to those main feeder lines, will be going into the neighborhoods. So you should have seen yesterday a lot of power coming back up in your communities, in the areas like that where we have the gas stations, where we have the pharmacies, the supermarkets, all those things that you need in order to have normalcy back in your life. So today we'll be in your neighborhood, so you'll be able to start seeing a whole lot of work there. Let me tell you about our restoration and our estimated times of restoration. So at this time, we have restored service to more than 195,000 customers. We have less than 90,000 customers still out of power. Yesterday, I mentioned to you how we have put out the last date that this restoration will be complete by. And so even though more customers will get power earlier, by the end of Tuesday, September 22nd, we expect that 95% of our customers will all have power. by the end of today, we will be able to provide information to our customers as to which areas within the county will be able to receive power sooner than Tuesday, September 22nd. Let me tell you a little bit about our crews because, we have an enormous amount of men and women that are out there working for all of you. As you know, I've mentioned we have 7,000 people working on this effort. Our crews are working 16-hour days. We have rotating shifts, so they're working through the night. And as you know, also the challenge of this storm has been finding enough lodging, all the bridge closures, the traffic and all of that. So one of the things that my team just did recently is that we have actually added more cots in the staging sites so that now we have 78% of our crews actually on site in the staging sites sleeping. So we have reduced tremendously their travel time, so their productivity and their ability to get your power back on has been increased. That's something that sort of the first time that we've done something like that. So I'm very excited about that because I know that that's going to help us get the power back on. In the past, I've told you that there's no need to call us. Well, now that's changing a little bit. If you see that your neighbors have power, but you do not, please let us know. The best way to let us know is to go on the Gulf Power app, or you can call us and use our automated system, and that number is 1-800-GU-POWER. Okay, the other thing I wanted to do today was explain to you one of the questions that we've been getting from our customers very frequently. And that question is, so, I don't see any power trucks. I don't see them in my neighborhood. Well, as I've explained before, we first have to restore what I call the backbone of our system. So we've been focused on our transmission lines, our substations, the main feeder lines, and then we get into the neighborhood. So even if you don't see a truck in your neighborhood, we're working backwards to the places that need to provide you electricity so that then when we get to your neighborhood, everything can be turned back on. So that's the way the process works. It's disciplined, it's logical, and it makes sense. We have crews all throughout Escambia County today. So, and we have had them all the time. So we're very excited about the progress that we are making and expect to make a lot of good progress today. One thing that I'm excited also about mentioning to you is that today we will be at the distribution event at the Brownsville Community Center. So we will be out there with our mobile charging station to help our customers who need to charge their mobile devices. So thank you so much for all your patience, for all the support that we've been getting through our community partners. That has been amazing. And stay safe, please, most of all. So thank you so much.
My name is Bruce Whitty. I'm the Executive Director of the ECUA, and pleased to give you an update this morning on the status of our work. Again, water conservation is a request that we're continuing to make of our customers. While we have ample supply and pressure in the system, that consumption flows to our wastewater system. While our wastewater system is working to increase the number of our lift stations that are now coming back onto utility power, they're still out of volume in the system. So as we move that onto the wastewater treatment plants, that's a little bit of a challenge as we come back up. So water conservation over the next few days will continue to help that process. Traffic is still a challenge. If you don't need to be out, please remain home. There's a lot of work in the utility corridors along the public rights-of-way, predominantly certainly Gulf Power, as you just heard about. But we're also doing a lot of activities that traffic is still impeding from time to time. Specifically back on water, we now have 23 wells that are back up and running. That's almost our full complement. We still have 9 of those on generator, but those are slowly turning back to utility power as well. So we're providing normal supply and pressure throughout the system. Even in some of those extreme reaches and areas most damaged, such as Perdido Key and Pensacola Beach, they're back in full service. We have 5 teams that are out taking samples and going through our testing protocols in order to transition us from a system-wide boil water notice back to normal operations. That is a large task to meet all of the state requirements when the whole system was in that state at one point in time. Pleased to see that they completed 76 samples last night. We're on schedule to complete 186 additional samples throughout the system today. That entire process will have to be repeated again in another 24 hours over the course of the day, Sunday. So we're completing in 2 days what we normally do over a course of about 30 days. That could not have been accomplished were it not for the help of the Escambia County Sheriff's Department and the Pensacola Police Department, who have provided some escort assistance to these folks who were covering a lot of ground over a short period of time during difficult traffic conditions. So again, thanks to both of those agencies for their help in accomplishing that. As that sampling and testing protocol runs its course, we will have announcements on release of boil water notices, and we anticipate that to begin Tuesday, possibly earlier with some good success. On the wastewater side, we have nearly 400 lift stations throughout our system. Right now, about 191 of those are back in on utility power. Another 40 are still running on generator power. Some of our remaining small ones are being maintained manually by crews that are going from station to station several times over the course of the day to keep them operating and pumped down. So it's still a Herculean task by our staff, particularly those who are having to get into neighborhoods and to do that work. Again, traffic is an issue, so your assistance by staying home is greatly appreciated. On the sanitation side, today, Thursday, and Friday pickup days are being picked up. This is trash only. These are the green cans, so this would be ECUA, service area only. Today, we are picking up Thursday and Friday's normal pickup days. We are having some slight delays work in the right-of-way. Please understand, getting into neighborhoods where there's still down trees and things are a little bit of a challenge. If we don't get you, we will pick you up on the subsequent pickup day. Again, this is trash only. No recyclables, no yard trash yet. Thank you very much for your understanding and patience. Couldn't have the success that we've had so far were it not for the cooperations we have throughout this county and community. Thank you.
Grover Robinson, Mayor of the City of Pensacola. I was out this morning. We were taking FEMA director that will be here later and their team. We was just with Senator Rubio and Congressman Gates. We had a chance to look at several things. Even Commissioner Bender went out with the FEMA people to take a ride on the bridge, which is continuing to be inspected at this point, and they're continuing to look at that. Did want to update a little bit about what is happening in the city of Pensacola. For just the city, city parks, I guess, and our facilities, property we own, we're estimated 80,000 cubic yards of debris. We're estimating 20 million in private property damage. There's a heat map on the dashboard online on Pensacola.com, cityofpensacola.com, our website. The damage levels are listed as major, minor, or destroyed, and they are listed there. And then private property damage assessments completed is what Kareth tells me here. He also says what we have, city has 92 signalized intersections with only 10 remaining that are not working due to no power. Should be working within the next 24 hours per the conversations they've had with Gulf Power. So Marlene, we definitely appreciate you helping us get those traffic signals on. And so that's where we are with traffic signals. All major stormwater ponds are currently being pumped down. They've been pumped down successfully, and storm inlets and pipes are being cleared by city crews. If you are a resident out there, we are probably looking at some rain today. One of the big things I wanted to come here today to tell you, we are trying to get to everyone that we can, but we may not be able to get in all residential areas just because of the sheer number of size of inlets we have. If you see leaves and other things around your inlet, you may want to think about trying to move those away, only in the sense that will allow that to continue to drain and properly function. So again, we ask that you help us with that, but we are out there clearing stuff right now. I just don't know that we'll get to every single one of them today, but these are the things that our staff is working today to take care of. There are also 257 trees were reported blocking roadways within the city of Pensacola, and 100 have been removed. All remaining blockages will be cleared within the next 72 hours. So we will get to those and have those completed. We also have, I did want to say to remind you of garbage as well. We're seeing a few people out there with cans. Black cans garbage in the city, we are not picking up at this time. I know some of you, with Bruce, I really appreciate him stressing green cans. Black cans are not being picked up at this point. We will pick those up. Monday and Tuesday routes will be picked up on Monday. Tuesday, Thursday routes will be picked up Tuesday, but we will come back around and pick up Monday and Tuesday routes again on Wednesday, and Wednesday, Thursday routes will be picked up again on Thursday. So we will have 2 black can pickups next week. We will again be stressing what it is for you to do, but if you are a Monday or Tuesday route, please have your can out for Monday pickup. We will pick up garbage only, no recyclables and no yard waste at this point. We do have crews that will be beginning Monday picking up yard debris. So please get your yard debris out to the street, and we will begin picking those things up. Finally, I think we had, so yard debris happens then. Again, the point from what we're hearing, all of our natural gas is up and running. However, if you do see a damaged gas line or you smell gas, we ask you to please call Pensacola Energy at 474-5307. 474-5307. And again, this is only only if your Pensacola Energy line is down would you call 911. Please call 474-5307. Call that number if you smell gas. That's where you need to get to. Otherwise, I'm being told all of our gas customers should be up and running, and we thank you for your patience as we continue to work to get to where we are. We're out showing people today with FEMA. My understanding is they will be coming out shortly with blue tarps and working with the state. That was one of the conversations they had. Obviously, the feeding that has happened, we're working work with the county at Brownsville for all of us on the west side of the city, working toward that center. The city is working on a couple other feeding programs of our own. We will continue to have the things that were scheduled at some of our facilities dealing with COVID feeding. So again, we will continue to update you on those as we get those back open. Thank you for your patience, and we look forward to continue to serve you. Thank you.
Morning. Todd Thompson, President and CEO of the Greater Pensacola Chamber of Commerce. Got a few updates for you. Operations at the Pensacola Fuel Terminal are staffed and operating. They're not quite back at 100% yet, but the important thing is to know is that there's plenty of fuel in our community. Stations are up and running. Any station that's not running is because of power issues, but Gulf Power is working diligently to get those taken care of. Most of the Circle Ks and Tom Thumbs in our communities do have fuel, and the ones that have power are open. But I would again ask, if you don't need fuel, if you can wait a few days, please. We should be pretty close to everybody being online by early next week. So again, if you don't need fuel, stay off the road as much as possible. Let's keep those lines down and keep things flowing. Some business resources I want to share. If you're a business that has been impacted by Hurricane Sally, please take the Florida Business Damage Assessment Survey. You can find that at floridadisaster.biz. That is a survey that will help the state determine how much relief we'll need, particularly for our businesses. So please, if you own a business that was impacted by Hurricane Sally, FloridaDisaster.biz, Florida Business Damage Assessment Survey. As you begin filing insurance claims, if you have issues filing those claims, CFO Jimmy Petronas has a website, preparefl.com. That's preparefl.com. Again, if you have issues as you file claims, you can go to that website. Also has a phone number. The helpline is 1-877-MY-FL-CFO. Numerically, that's 1-877-693-5236. You can also get help with insurance claims at that number. Price gouging. I've heard a few issues with price gouging. If you're experiencing price gouging, Attorney General has a price gouging hotline. That number is 1-866-9-NO-SCAM. Numerically, that's 1-866-966-7226. Again, if you have price gouging issues, please call the hotline. And now some relief efforts that are ongoing. If you want to help with the recovery, the United Way of West Florida is taking financial contributions. You can go to their website at uwwf.org. That's uwwf.org. You can contribute online. And Volunteer Florida has opened up their disaster fund. You can go to their website, floridadisaster.org, or you can text disaster to 20222. So we encourage you, if you're able to help, please do. And again, stay safe and adhere to all of the warnings and guidance provided today. Thank you.
Okay, so before we end and take questions, I just wanted to mention that the county is going to extend the curfew until Monday, September 21st. There will be a modification. That curfew will extend from midnight to 6 a.m. We are going to continue to reevaluate this, whether or not we need it until the 21st for sure, but we are going to make sure that we have it for the next couple of nights. Hopefully, power and water and other things will continue to bring us, more opportunities to not necessarily have to have a curfew, make our citizens safe. We've mentioned this almost every time. We've asked you to please, please, please do not put your generators in areas where you don't have good ventilation. Put them indoors or put them, within 20 feet of an open door. We actually had a fire crew last night that had to assist with relocating a generator that was causing an unsafe situation in a multi-residential facility. So we are not making this up whenever we tell you, please keep yourself safe when it comes to your generators. We've also asked you to please be safe in terms of whenever you are utilizing a chainsaw. We've asked you to also please only continue to call 911 for life-saving or down power lines if they have been connected and they are hot. Then also call your utilities, as you've heard, either Gulf Power or ECUA for issues related to your home. Our Citizens Information Line is continuing to operate 24 hours a day at 850-471-6600. You may also call the United Way at 211 as they are going to continue to try and provide you assistance with clothing, medical, prescriptions, and also financial assistance. And then again, we would encourage you to visit myescambia.com at the Storm Center, or also follow us on the Be Ready Escambia Facebook and our Twitter sites for the latest Hurricane Sally information. We've all provided you with a considerable amount of information today. We will make sure that all of that is made available, not only to our media partners, but also the public through those different venues. So we would open it up to questions.
Can you give us a status report on the county jail, Janice, and on the local nursing home? So I've heard there've been some issues with the village, right?
Yeah, Eric, you might want to speak specifically to the nursing homes, but yes, sir, we were very fortunate to work with our partners and have the water and the electricity restored to the jail today, I haven't left this building, so it's Saturday. I believe that was restored on Friday.
So they haven't had water or power since
It was restored.
restored last night?
I am pretty sure it was restored on Friday. Yes, sir. And what happened was we were bringing in what's called a water buffalo, which would help with waste issues, but we also brought in bottled water and things like that to help with drinking and those kind of things. So we were managing that.
So what day is it, Rick? As far as the nursing homes go, so we were, we were on a night shift last night and everything seemed to be going, and we started having issues at some of these facilities. We had ACA representatives coming to the nursing facility, skilled nursing facilities, assisted living facilities, and nursing homes, and they were doing just checks, QC checks on the facilities, and we had elevated temperatures in some of our facilities, and when we reach anything above 81 degrees, it causes a red flag to go up and causes us to go into protective measures, either to evacuate the facility or to find the air conditioning, find a generator. We did have a facility in which Gulf Power was helpful in restoring power so we didn't have to remove people from the facility or do evacuation. Azalea Trace, I don't remember specifically if they had an issue, but I know we had 21 facilities that were visited last night. And at the end of the night, all 21 facilities, we had issues at 3 of the facilities, but they were all mitigated before the night was over, and we got temperatures down or either generators in place with the help of the state, which was great. They pushed resources in pretty quick.
We talk about temperature, talk about the temperature.
The ambient temperature of the facility, yes, sir. Some of the issues was just as simple as moving patients to a cooler part of the facility that was receiving better HVAC flow. So some of them were mitigated easily. Some of them we did bring assets in to help cool the facility. But as of last night, as of this morning, all 21 that was inspected, they all are stabilized as of now. Situation changed, but they're good to go. Thanks, Rick.
Administrator Gillian, you mentioned earlier that there was, that some of the distribution centers have run out and there was a convoy coming in. Do you have any idea when that convoy will arrive, and is there any way for citizens to know, like,
Yeah.
what's stocked and what isn't?
Okay, so Eric may have the latest, but what we understand is they should be here and then they will all be fully operational again tomorrow. But he may be able to have some this afternoon.
So we go by burn rates, how much we're seeing, how many pallets of water and food are going away. This morning, we had a high burn rate at Brownsville and at Inverty Point. So state is pushing assets as close away from Santa Rosa County, so we will get a food truck and a water truck at both those locations by noon, is what the state has told me. So we'll be replenished by noon today. Of course, we'll go through another burn rate and we'll assess what's going on. But meanwhile, since we were having high intake of people to get the services, state has pushed a load of trucks from Tallahassee to get ahead of the situation, and then we'll calculate the day's burn rate altogether, go through the night, and restock and be ready for tomorrow morning. So as of now, it was my understanding, it was Inverty was black, which means they had no water, no food, but should have it up and going by noon again today. Thank you.
I guess another question, in terms of Gulf Power, how will you be prioritizing neighborhoods? Just what's the methodology for now where you go with?
Yeah, so we have staging sites and we've got crews all throughout the entire county. So those neighborhoods will be, restored, through, as a result of us. We have staging sites all throughout the county. So, the trucks are going out and everybody will get restored. We'll be giving you more information tonight as to the areas that will be able to come back up before the end of Tuesday. So I'll have more information later tonight. You're welcome.
Do we have any update on what's happening with Forest Creek, with the apartment complex there?
In what regard?
Well, I know they have heavy flooding there.
They have in the past. It was my understanding they didn't have as substantial of flooding this time. I do know did go by and visit that was one of the sites that he was to go see today. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We do also understand too that that some of the mitigation that the county had done with the old Corey Bridge by making that replacement did actually, I don't want to say keep it from flooding, but what it did was it diminished the amount of flooding.
I want to say one thing also, it's a misnomer that I've learned. One of the challenges we have with neighborhoods is understanding the way power works. It's fed from away. You can't go to the end of the terminus of the power and work it and then expect power to come on if it doesn't come on there. So there is, sometimes people are like, well, the neighborhood right next to me has power. I get that all the time. And I'm like, that's on a different it's on a different way that it's being routed. Yours comes from another area, so you have to wait for the one before you to get power to eventually come to you. So sometimes when you're at the end, I'm one of those tail people, so I'm still without power. But you know, we learned long ago that our tail goes a long way south. Even though I can look right across the street and I can see people have power, but mine doesn't come from them. So patience with that, and I get a lot of calls on that as well. I see my neighborhood next to me has power. Why don't I have power? Sometimes you're not on the same power feed, but they are working it through and sequentially what's happening. So you know, that's my understanding as to what's happening. And Rick, I think this goes to stress how important Brownsville was. I mean, to see it now being one of the most significant burn rates, it was important to the city, and I really appreciate Commissioner May and the Congressman helping us get that one up and running. We expected to have significant need in that location, so I was very glad that I think this just kind of demonstrates what's happening there, how important that is to overall serving people in that area.
You know, Eric, yes, you know, earlier you were talking about 8 distribution sites for this. You know I was going to bring this back up.
Go ahead.
So is Wedgewood and Brownsville one of those, or are there going to be more distribution sites?
What we have is what we have right now. So it was a negotiation with the state.
Right.
My dream was 8. Actually, my dream was 9, to be honest with you. So it was a negotiation process, and
We
what's
have a chance to talk to him today. So-
what's that?
We have a chance to talk to him today.
Right. So anyway.
Thanks.
All right. For anyone, really, is there anything specific that you all are looking to get from the state officials in today? Are they going to be torn?
I think the most important people to have are FEMA, and also having a state director, Jared Moskowitz here. These are two people that are vitally important to getting us back on our feet. You know, no matter what happens, Escambia County and the City of Pensacola have finite resources, so this is going to have to be help the lift to make this happen. We're going to have some federal money, and we have to have some state money. That's much of what we were showing today, the damages. One of the other things that we really did show the FEMA, we took them around to, is we've had a number of rebuildings since both Ivan and the 2014 storm. What we wanted to show them, and they were very impressed at some of the projects we've been able to do, because I think more than anything else is one thing they were stressing, we need to be doing more mitigation projects where we can find them and what we're doing. I think they were very impressed to see the new building that has happened, what has happened with that, the fact that everything is up, what we've seen. Those were things they were excited about. We took them, though, to some neighborhoods, you know, that where we really need help in older homes, older neighborhoods. We showed them, again, we have some old growth trees that have created substantial impact, but that was the kind of thing we wanted to show them and stress to them why we need them, what's important, and how we get people back on their feet. So I think both from whether it's our officials that are here or really the agencies, that's the most important thing. Now, one of the things they obviously wanted to see was the bridge. That is going to create significant challenges on its own. We're going to be working with that. I did not go on the bridge route. I saw Commissioner Berry afterwards, and we were both happy that we didn't take the bridge tour, especially when they told us it's still settling some of it areas. So, but they did drive out there on it. Obviously, I don't want to make light of this. This is going to be a challenging situation for all of us in this community for some time. You know, there's commitment from state DOT, our congressional representatives. It's one of the things we talked about with Senator Rubio there and Congressman Gates. It's very important. FEMA wanted to see it. You know, we're working through that. We don't have the answers right now. They're doing the assessment. We met with Volkert people that were there. they were actually still ongoing doing it. So again, we will know more once the final assessment is done, but that hasn't been done. So I can't really give you any answers at this particular time. But as soon as that final assessment is in, we'll be able to tell you more about the bridge. The good news is we simply showed them what we've got, and they now understand how challenging of a problem we have.
And just to be specific, one of the things that a major declaration provides is it helps us with our debris removal. Escambia County is looking at about 2.3 million cubic yards, which in dollars will equate to about $54 million. And that's a big lift. The other thing that those major declarations help with are SBA loans. They help you with the bridge loans. They help you with all the other things that will help get our businesses back up and going after a major disaster. Without that declaration or those other, higher categories other than a Category B, we won't necessarily get that help. I am confident that the damage has been displayed to meet the thresholds and things like that, but we still have to have that declaration in hand before we can really start implementing those programs.
Have we completed the paperwork to do that? Has that been sent off yet? The paperwork?
So I spoke with the governor's office this morning. Again, we have conversations with them 2 or 3 times a day. And I said, what do you need from us? And they said, we have everything we need from you. We've had everything we need from you. I think this tour, this actual presence in the community is what's going to make the final determination. Because what we were told by FEMA, I believe on Thursday, was that their teams were coming in. They had to do the aerial and the ground assessments, and that also helped, validate the thresholds that we have to meet in order to meet those federal declaration limits. So, okay, is that good? Well, I just want to say before we go, listen, we are doing everything that we can to help our community, our first responders, all of our employees. You've seen all of these different individuals that have been up here from these utilities. We care so much about our community. We are all absolutely 100% committed to getting you all back up and going. Those of us that have been here for many years, this is unfortunately routine for us to some extent, but please, please stay safe. Please stay off the roads if you can't, because we can get your services up and going better if you will stay off the roads. And then also, please be courteous and patient. I know it's hard. I know it's hot. I know you're frustrated. But if you will just bear with us, I know we're a lot farther along than we were whenever Ivan hit. At this point, many years ago, we are in warp speed compared to where we were with Ivan. If you will just please have patience, we will get you there even quicker. Thank you.